The Chicago Bulls have a huge comeback in tonight's game to beat the Toronto Raptors. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's game. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so tonight, the Chicago Bulls win 125-115 against the Toronto Raptors. And I think that the key takeaway out of this is that the Chicago Bulls had a 26-point turnaround in this game. They also played some pretty good defense down the stretch in order to go ahead and take care of business in overtime. We're going to be talking about the keys to this game. And so before we go ahead and jump into the box score and the key takeaways, wanted to first remind you that 71.4% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel. So like Modest Buzelis did tonight, make sure that you go ahead and you slam dunk on that subscribe button, as it means a lot to us as we try to reach our end of the season subscriber goal. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. And so looking at this box score, I always like to start with the MVPs. And so I have three, but I want to start with the first one, and that is going to be Josh Giddey. Once again, Josh Giddey has a terrific game. He had 19 points in this. He had 8 rebounds, 12 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was plus 16 in the plus minus box score, 7 of 17 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. And he played in 40 minutes, but more importantly, he just had 1 turnover tonight. But look, I loved Josh Giddey on the defensive end. He had a really good block against Emmanuel Quickly in the third quarter, and he had some great contests, especially into overtime, like the one where he's going up against Scotty Barnes there. There's one where he has a collision, I think, with RJ Barrett, goes down temporarily for a moment, but gets back up. And then he also had a pretty good defensive sequence where he comes over to initiate a double team, and that is where Ayo Dosummu gets a critical steal and goes down and dunks the basketball. And so defensively, his activity was there. And I just love the confidence because he really started off just really setting the table for the team. I think, in fact, there was one point where he had 8 assists to 6 different players. So just making sure that multiple players were getting touches and into scoring position. And so Josh Giddey, again, a solid game. This is now the 5th straight double-double for him, 20 double-doubles on the season. So Josh Giddey, got to give him his credit. And so next up, I have got to give Ayo Dosummu an MVP today. This guy was stellar for me because he was out there. If you did not get a chance to see it, he is playing with, you see the shoulder shirt under, and he's dealing with a shoulder injury. You could tell that he was still kind of battling through this. This is exactly why we love Ayo. We just love that heart. We see it today. He had a critical steal. He was, running down. He got a nice dunk as well. So the activity in the fast break game, you see that it was there. And look, it didn't phase him a bit. 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. He was plus 9. He was 5 of 9 from the field. I love the fact that he played in 23 minutes too as well. And so look, you just love that anything that you put Ayo in as far as a role, he is able to thrive with it. And so I got to give him an MVP on the night. Next up, I want to go ahead and give Zac Collins his credit because look, Zac Collins has done a great job as far as starting. He is my 3rd MVP of the night. Once again, he has a double-double. This is something that he did not do with the San Antonio Spurs. He had 15 points. He had 13 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He had a steal. He had a block. He was plus 28 in the plus minus box score. He was 5 of 10 from the field. More importantly, he was 5 of 6 from the free throw line, played in 40 minutes, which I believe was a career high for him. But I think that when you look at Zac Collins, you look at the performances, you see exactly why he was the 10th pick in the 2017 draft out of Gonzaga. I think that just the issue with him is just he's never been able to be healthy. And I think just like I said before in the last video, look, I know he's on an expiring contract. I'm not sure he's going to be a long-term piece for you, but I do think that if you're moving on from Vooch, you have Jalen Smith there. I think that if the Bulls do address the front court, he is certainly a player that should be in the mix to help that player transition. He's not going to get in the way as well. And so that is something to consider. It's good to see that he's getting minutes with Vooch down. And I think that this helps the Bulls now maybe with a clearer path if they are moving on from Vooch this summer. And so next up, looking at some other players here. So I've got to give Zoe his credit. So Zoe, look, the big thing about what Zoe did is he knocked down some critical threes late, especially in overtime, dancing on the sideline. But what is, I guess, maybe overlooked in this is that he played 34 minutes. Like 34 minutes is huge for Lonzo. And I've already said this, and I'm pretty sure I haven't heard this from anybody else, but I think Lonzo at one point is going to get back to maybe playing in back-to-back situations. I think that he still wants to do that. I think he still wants to compete like that at a high level. And I'm rooting for Zoe to get there. But this was a good sign to see Zoe back playing these type of minutes. I thought his activity was there. He caused an actual travel late in the game when we needed it most on RJ Barrett, just his presence there. So Lonzo just active. You could feel it. He did have 2 assists in this, 2 rebounds, 14 points of steal, but he was plus 12, hit some big threes down the stretch for us. And so next up, look, Coby White didn't get my MVP tonight. But look, I guess he gets my heart award for tonight again, because this guy, this is why we love him as well. Because look, Coby White can go through it, but he's still out there battling. And tonight, it didn't look good initially, but Coby White is a guy that is wanting, he wants to take the big shots. He wants all the smoke. This is why I love him. He takes a big shot late in this game, gets a 4-point play, and he makes the free throw, which sends us into overtime. We eventually win in overtime with a 15-point outburst there to Toronto's 5. And so, but it's because Coby White and his ability to knock down a big shot. And what's ironic about it is, he had a chance to perhaps tie the game against the Clippers from that same spot, and he missed it. This time around, he took it with confidence, got the foul force. He played 37 minutes in this when he was plus 11, but the 4 steals. Look, he was all over the place activity-wise as far as playing the passing lane, and I think that that's one of the better things that Coby White can do when he gets locked in. He also had 3 assists and 4 rebounds. So Coby White, look, this is why we love Coby White, and the way that he plays is just about him being consistent tonight. And so next, I want to go ahead and look at the bench really quickly here and some of the performances out of that. And so I think with Jalen Smith, look, it was a tough comeback game for him. He's been in concussion protocol. He had 4 points. He had 6 rebounds, negative 18, 2 of 7, 0 of 4 from 3. And so he played in 13 minutes. Look, I know Jalen Smith can certainly bring it. And, I think that I've talked about Zac Collins. I've talked about the fact that I think that he can work well with Jalen Smith. And I think that you don't want to, push, I think, Jalen Smith down because of Zac Collins and his play, especially when Vooch comes back. I hope that they continue to keep him into the mix. But I think tonight was more about him just coming back from the injury. I think he'll be just fine. Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, look, 4 minutes for Dalen Terry, 8 minutes for Julian Phillips. He's knocking down the corner 3-point shot, which is what he did today. And I'm talking about Julian Phillips. I always love Dalen Terry. I love the energy and the effort out there. I think that both of these players should have gotten more minutes. That's going to lead me to Modest Buzelis here in a moment. But next up, with Kevin Huerter. So it looks like Kevin Huerter, look, he continues to find his shot. 15 points in this game. He had a rebound. He had 2 assists. He had a steal and a block shot. He was plus 13 on the night, but you could see that he's much more comfortable, especially operating with Josh Giddey, finding his spots on the floor. And so it was good to see that he continues to really find his shot. And then also, too, his activity level seems to be picking up on both ends of the floor. So that's good to see from Kevin Huerter. And then when we go to Modest Buzelis and the minutes. And so, look, he played 25 minutes. Kevin Huerter played 28 minutes. You also had Tre Jones, who had a good performance as well. We'll talk about him. But look, Modest Buzelis, my thing with him is that he had some great dunks. He was out in the open floor. I love that. I wished I would have saw him down the stretch. He wasn't necessarily hitting the 3 ball, but you could see the athleticism. You see his playmaking ability as well. He had 3 assists. I know he finished negative 11, but still another good outing as far as double figures. But I would love to have saw him out there in crunch time. And once again, you have to get him minutes because he is part of your future. And then with Tre Jones, want to close with that. And so, look, Tre Jones, I've said it before, he plays a lot bigger than what he is. You can see that, look, he understands just angles. He understands just how to finish around the basket. I love some of the tough finishes that I saw from him. And his just awareness as far as understanding when to cut. I think that that is something that I've been very impressed with him. And he just goes out there and quietly takes care of business. He was 4 of 6 in this game. Didn't knock down a three-point shot, only 12 minutes, but I think it was an efficient 12 minutes. He was plus 13 in this game, or not, excuse me, not plus 13. He was plus 6 in this game with 10 points and 2 assists and a steal. So good performance here for the Chicago Bulls as they were able to get it into overtime and go ahead and win this game. And so quickly as we look at the team box score and some of the key takeaways from that, you see that the Toronto Raptors there win in rebounds 51 to 45. Turnovers, that was actually the Raptors. They led that 17 to 15 there. 15 or 28 to 15 Bulls in the fast break. Points 62 to 52. The Bulls win. Points in the paint 11 to 4 with the Bulls in the steal. So I talked about the defense from the team. Seemed like the team played some terrific defense. They were helping one another. They were playing the passing lanes. The activity was brilliant. Just love the contest at the rim. Zac Collins stepping out on the pick and roll. Like, there was so much to love defensively from this team tonight. And then with the block shots, 4 to 3 there, the activity was good for the Bulls. And look, 32 assists to 45 field goals. That is the 26th game that the Bulls have had at least 30 assists in this game. So that was good to see. With the Raptors, they shoot 41.7% from the field, 35.1 from three. With the Bulls, we were at 44.6 from the field, only 25 or 26.5 from three, but still a lot of heart shown from the Bulls tonight. And so let me know what the key takeaway is, for you in tonight's game, because again, I think that this was good to see that the Bulls, just locked down. They played some good defense out there. It was good to see that Modest Buzelis got into double figures. And quiet as it's kept, I think right now this month he's averaging 13.1 points a game. That's only behind, I think, Alex Sarr, and then also Stephon Castle at 14.4 points a game. So it's good to see that. He had 3 dunks. I talked about that in the transition. And Billy Donovan had to switch it up a little bit. He was playing some 2-3 zone out there. So that's been an interesting kind of wrinkle that he's had to play that type of defense out there. But it seems to be working. I think that the Bulls are responding very well. And he's also had to play Zac Collins and some players that maybe he would not have played had Vooch, Patrick Williams, maybe been healthy. So that's good to see. So you got to give Billy Donovan some credit there. Talked about the assist and Zac Collins doing his thing. And so, look, this is what we want to see from this Bulls team. It is the 6th youngest team in the NBA. It's all about experience. It's all about developing these players. You got to continue to try to find minutes for for Dalen, Terry, Julian, Phillips, Modest Buzelis. These are players that are certainly going to be a part of your future. And it looks like that Josh Giddey continues to play well, and he certainly is going to be a part of the Chicago Bulls' future. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. And as we always say, go Bulls, and I will see you in the next one. All right, peace.